After years of waiting, the Cloud Defensive EPL is finally here. Is it a game changer? Let's find out. After reviewing dozens or hundreds of lights, what can I say? It's a TLR1 size light. It's got a rail clamp with different keys. It's got 2 switches on the back. It takes a single 18350 battery and that comes out the front. It's a pistol light. So if it's going to be a game changer, it's going to have to perform better or have significantly better switches. So the Cloud Defensive specs on this light are 1200 lumens or 52,000 Candela. Cloud sells this light at $269, which puts it into the premium range of pistol lights. For comparison, here's how some of the competitive lights stack up in terms of cost and specs.
Streamlight TLR 1 HP. Sure Fire X 300 Ultra. Modlight PL3 50PL HV2.
So we bought 3 of these lights and ran them through our extensive lab testing to determine if Cloud Defensive has kept their promises. Now first up is Lumen Testing. So when you first turn on the light, one of them measured over 1300 lumens, one of them measured over 1200, and one of them measured closer to 1100. At 30 seconds in, one of them was measuring over 1200 lumens, and the average of the 3 at 30 seconds is 1127 lumens. That's 94% of the claim, and we're going to say that that's a promise kept. Cloud Defensive claims 40 minutes of runtime. Our lights measured between 32 and 35.5 minutes. That's close, and that's not the runtime you're going to get out of a light that has 2 CR123A batteries. Those tend to run much, much longer. I'm going to let you decide if that's a promise kept. Practically, it's pretty uncommon to be using your weapon-mounted light over 10 minutes, let alone 35 minutes. However, that output curve drops off pretty quickly, and you're not going to be getting all those lumens as you get towards the end of that runtime. Candela measures the ability of a light to focus in a particular spot. Cloud Defensive claims 52,000 Candela, and we were not able to get anywhere near that number. The best of our samples at 0 seconds measured under 45,000 Candela, and at 30 seconds, the average of the lights was about 37,000 Candela, which is nowhere near their claim. And that not only doesn't meet Cloud Defensive's claim, but it is not competitive with some of the powerful lights that we have available today. Cloud Defensive has emphasized light quality in the past, and this light continues with that principle. It comes in right around 5400 Kelvin. The more natural color temperature helps with positive identification of colors of a particular target. One of the ways lights can differentiate is through switches, and that is pretty hard these days because we've semi-standardized on the TLR7 style switches. Those switches have an advantage of being pretty natural, and once you're trained up on it, it's pretty easy to activate either momentary or constant mode. So what I want in a switch is to be able to easily activate it as I'm building my grip, or if I've already built my grip, to activate it naturally without adjusting my grip or fiddling with the light switch. For me, these light switches are not as easy to activate. I find myself moving and trying to press down and forward at the same time, and it doesn't turn on, or I push forward and it's causing me to adjust my grip. And it seems that if the frame of the pistol is larger above the lights, or if you're running a thumb rest, it becomes even harder to bring that thumb down and around and activate the switch. Now, of course, you can switch out these switches. These happen to be the low switches. If you put on the longer switches, it tends to exacerbate the problems that I just talked about. So far, this light is not a game changer, but let's see how it holds up in our durability testing. Lights are full of sensitive electronic components, and the vibration test is meant to see if there's going to be a failure. It should accelerate the type of failure we would see if we had the light on our person or in the console of our car. That vibration accumulates over time. This test accelerates that. So I mount the light up to the rail on the vibration tester, turn the light on, and set it to max power. So this test exceeded the light's runtime. So I swap in a new battery, try the light, and it works. Because this light works perfectly and we could find no signs of loose parts, it gets a full 10 points.
This mist test is going to put the light in 45 minutes in the mistiest environment you can think of.
So given that this light is IPX7, it should have no problem with this test. So I turn the light on and I put it inside the test chamber and walk away. I return, open up the test chamber and pull the light out. It's still on. I open the light up, check inside, and it looks dry. Since the light is dry, it receives a full 10 points for this test. So if the mist test is easy, the fish tank gets a little bit harder because we're fully immersing the light in water. Even though this is full immersion, because of the light's IPX7 rating, it should be able to pass this test just fine. I turn this light on, drop it in the water, and leave it there. I come back and the light has still got a little bit of illumination.
I'm pleasantly surprised.
I pull it out of the tank, I inspect the battery compartment, I don't see any moisture, so I put in a fresh battery and turn the light on, and it seems to be functioning normally. Because there's no signs of water intrusion and the light appears to be working perfectly fine, this light gets 10 points on this test.
So this is our 2-meter tank, and what this does is there's more hydraulic pressure, and it does find its way into any sort of leaks within our light.
If we're going to find water intrusion, this test is going to do it. The light is rated IPX7, and this is more of an IPX8 test. I'm going to see how the EPL does here. I come back, I dump the light out of the tank.
It's funny, it was working till a second ago.
And inspect the battery compartment.
It looks good.
Put a fresh battery in, and it looks like this light is functioning perfectly well. Because there's no visible water intrusion and because the light is functioning, I give it a full 10 points. Next up is a rail shock test. It tests the mounting system of the light. So we mount the light to the rail. We use the included setup information card to determine torque spec. And it didn't take us where we expected to go. So we found on Instagram the torque spec.
Your inch-pound torque wrench. 25 inch-pounds. And tighten her down. 25's enough. Click.
Torqued the light to Cloud's torque spec and went ahead and dropped it 10 times. I run through all 10 drops and the light is still mounted onto the rail, but barely. It seems on an earlier drop, it sheared the rail key and scooted forward a little bit on the rail, but it stayed attached. On this test, I'm impressed that the light did not have any visible flicker. However, it did shear the rail key, so it does not get the full 10 points. Next up is our direct impact test, where we see how well this light performs when getting smacked against concrete 10 times. So we mount the light up to the rail, torque it to the proper spec, lift the rail up, and drop it onto concrete. Remove the light from the rail and inspect for damage.
Okay, I'm shocked. There is hardly any visible damage to the light. It looks like it's still round. It didn't break out the lens. Everything looks and feels solid. Yeah, it's solid. There's nothing loose. There's nothing broken. Pretty durable so far.
There's a little mark on the bottom, but I rub at it with my finger and it looks like the light hasn't even been dropped. Because this light performed perfectly in this test, it gets a full 10 points.
All right, we got some fine Portland cement dust.
When I go out and train, I'm often in dusty, dirty conditions, and I don't want those conditions ruining my light. This test is meant to be an extreme version of that. I go ahead and throw the light in the tumbler, close the lid, and run it. I come back and open up the lid, search through all this Portland cement for the light, and pull it out. I go ahead and try to knock the dust off the light and get it functioning again by manipulating the switches back and forth.
They stick in, but that's to be expected with that much dust in them.
It feels like with a little more cleaning, these switches will probably work just fine. I pull the battery out and I don't see any dust, but what I do see concerns me. There are fine water particles on the battery and inside the battery compartment. There is actually water intrusion into this light after that test, and I had missed it up until this point. Because the light still works, and because there's no dust inside, it gets a full 10 points for this dust test. However, I'm gonna go back and dock the light for having water intrusion. So today's lights are super durable, and we all benefit from that. But our goal is to test lights to the extreme so that we can determine not if it'll fail, but when and how it'll fail. So that brings us to our concrete mixer test, where we load up the concrete mixer with jagged granite rocks, checking to see if that light still works at 15-minute intervals. This concrete mixer is a grinder. It's an environment we expect no pistol light to have to endure, but it does allow us to uncover when and how a light may fail.
Well, I don't think it's gonna last very long. We've got the concrete mixer loaded up with granite rocks, and they're pretty substantial. I think it's not gonna take any time to destroy this and make it stop.
After 15 minutes, I walk up, turn the mixer off, pull the light out. The switches are a little stiff, but the light still works and functions properly, so I throw it back into the mixer for another 15-minute run. At 30 minutes, I stop the mixer, dig the light out, and it's immediately obvious that it's missing one of the switches. However, the other switch is still there. It's super stiff, but it manages to turn on the light. The light passes, it goes in for another 15 minutes. At 45 minutes, when I pull the light out, it flickers, which makes me think that it's alive. However, I'm pressing that remaining switch and it's not turning on. So I'm thinking maybe the battery died? Swap out the battery, put in a fresh one, and it's still not working. This light is dead. But wait a minute, as I'm trying to get that light to work, I smack it hard on this table and it comes back to life. So I throw it back in for another 15 minutes. After a full hour of being in the concrete mixer, I pull this poor light out and it's missing both switches now. So I try everything I can do to try to make it work. I swapped out the battery, didn't work. I changed to new switches, still didn't work. I even cleaned out the recesses that these switches poke into, and it still didn't work. This light is dead. While this light did survive an hour in the concrete mixer, we have seen lights go longer, so it does not get a perfect score in this test. So here's the total durability score.
No light survives the concrete mixer test. The cloud defensive EPL held up well, but didn't last as long as other lights we've tested. Here's how it stacks up.
This light did hold up well in our durability test. It had a little bit of water intrusion, but it didn't have any real flicker when it had the impact test. However, the concrete mixer did destroy the switches on this, and that did affect its score. We tested the EPL in our Precision Fit X300 and TLR1 holsters, and it did not properly fit. That may not be the case for duty holsters where, for instance, the light has a whole lot of extra room or it's semi-universal. Here at Werkz, we do specialize in precision fit holsters for pistols with lights, and as a result, I'm happy to announce we have both the M6 inside the waistband holster and the M7 outside the waistband holster available today for both Glock and Walther PDP pistols. If you're looking for a holster compatible with your pistol, please leave a comment down below. So who's this light for? Well, first, if you bought it, use it. It's a solid, made in the USA light that has a good combination of flood and hotspot. It's also a little bit different. It's not going to be the same as everybody else's Surefire or Streamlight on the range. Whether or not the EPL meets its specs is kind of irrelevant. To be honest, if you're choosing your light based upon manufacturer's specs, you're doing it wrong. Not all manufacturers adhere to the same testing spec, and not all manufacturers rate their lights the same way. You need objective data using the same equipment in the same lab, and that is what we have for you at lowlightdefense.com. We have a library of results that we've measured over the years, and that allows you to objectively compare the lights that you're looking at. I would urge you to compare the EPL to the TLR1 family or the X300 family. Drama seems to follow the EPL, but my job is to provide you with objective data. What do you think of it? Please leave a comment down below, and from all of us here at Werkz, thanks for watching and have a blessed day.